AM 1220 KDOW presents Money 2.0. Money 2.0. Now, with a focus on your mortgage and the real estate marketplace, here's your Money 2.0 host, Tony Mendez.
Welcome in. I am Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
Thanks for joining us today.
We're here every Thursday, as usual, 6 to 7. Drive time special, we like to call it.
So this is a real estate report. We are here to empower you, to inform you, educate you, and help you participate in making sound decisions in real estate. I like the participation part. This is a live show. You call it 800-516-1220. You can always shoot us an email, tony@bayarealoansource.com, to get your calls on the air or your email on the air. We have a good show for you today. As promised, we do a kind of biweekly newsletter, and beginning of the month we tell everybody what we're going to start talking about. Today we want to talk a little bit about ARMs. We're going to get to that section a little bit later. We have a good realtor coming on, Julie Geyer. She's been on in the past, but we kind of want to get her take on what it's like to buy and sell in San Mateo County and the peninsula in general. It's been kind of rough over there, Gordon. Low inventory, home prices up, but I think I have a pretty tricky question for today on whether or not the higher end homes are capping out, like San Francisco had in the 1.9 to 2.1 million range. It kind of capped out. Houses sat on the market a little bit longer. I'm wondering if that's starting to happen a little bit more in the San Mateo County area. And then we have some emails and a couple more stories to go throughout the show. Again, you can call the show 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220. Rates are the big story right now, Gordon. They've come down over the last several weeks. There's been a lot of kind of global fear of, some conflicts. There's been a rush of safe money into the United States, into safe assets like the bond, and it's driven the yield down. A couple things that Trump promised look like they're going to have a little bit of trouble pushing through. So rates have kind of reacted in a very positive way for people looking to refinance and to buy. Yeah,
we've had a good 2-week run of low rates. Rates have actually come back down to where we were in 2016. Phones are ringing. Everybody's getting busy. Rates that we thought were gone are actually back. So I'm excited, especially right in time for the spring buying market. So if you are looking to buy, keep looking. If you are looking to refinance, keep trying, because there's a great opportunity here. Windows of opportunity we got to take advantage of.
And Freddie Mac weekly survey, 3.97% for the 30-year fixed, 15-year at 3.23%, the 5-year ARM at 3.10%. Now, I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. We get rates back down below 4%, but here they are. And one thing I can tell you, if you are looking to purchase or refinance, start early. There might be something on your credit that you need to fix, or you might need to go really quickly in your escrow, and you need to be prepared. You can't just jump into it. Hey, call a loan officer. Hey, I'm in contract, and it just doesn't happen that quickly nowadays. Besides, a lot of these contracts are going in without contingencies. How do you feel about no contingencies? We've had a couple people just cringe over that and say, I just can't buy a house not putting an appraisal contingency, or even inspection contingencies. One of the things we're going to talk about today are some of the biggest mistakes or not regrets that homeowners have, and that's one of them. They didn't get an inspection, but nowadays it's commonplace not to have one.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. The client right now, we've done several transactions for her and her husband. They're in contract right now to purchase a home. It was a very, very competitive bid. It was a trust sale. They had 15 offers. They came in no appraisal contingency, no inspection contingency, no contingencies whatsoever. They did do a home inspection, but that was just for FYI. But now, as I spoke to the appraiser, the property's not going to appraise. So I spoke to her yesterday, said, listen, it doesn't look like the property is going to appraise because you came in $125,000 over our asking price for a fixer-upper. And I just had to have her prepared to make up the difference between the purchase price and the appraised value. She was okay with it because they're looking to invest in this property, add another bedroom, bath, and turn it around and resell.
But they went ahead and got that inspection to
Peace of mind.
FYI. That's one of the biggest regrets that people have, is that they didn't get the inspection. But we're in that age of no contingencies, and it kind of scares me. It's another reason why, if you are indeed looking to buy a house, that you just don't, pardon the French, but don't screw around. Yeah. Get yourself prepared, have the documents looked at, have that credit run, have everything ready so that you can, if you have to put no contingency on the loan, do it. What are your options if you have no loan contingency? Talk to your realtor. See where the range of comparable prices will come in, so you know what that appraisal will come in. How much extra money do you have to give to the seller? Are you going to be put into a lower down payment program where you might have mortgage insurance, or you might have to go to one of those 10% down jumbos, for example, as opposed to a 20% down jumbo? Big difference, by the way. So Again, and I've said this before, and people who have listened to this show regularly will know what I say. It's these low rates offer an opportunity for people to manage their debt and manage their mortgage. And it could be everything from just doing a standard refinance or taking some cash out to pay off some higher interest rate debt. But definitely get it analyzed. Gordon, how many times do you see people, and I know you've seen people take out cash to pay off some debt, but they didn't need to?
Always.
Or they run it back up after they pay it off.
Yeah. I mean, that's a classic example. That's why we always caution people on cash out refis. Everybody's looking at, hey, listen, I want to cut my monthly obligation. They take cash out. They pay off their debt. 6 months to a year, the same debts that they paid off, they ran them back up accidentally, as they always say, and they're back to square one. Now they owe more in their house, and now they're back into a deeper financial position. It's about money management. We always talk about talk to a professional. There's all kinds of programs out there, budget. You can do X, Y, Z, how much money you save, how much money you spend. Just have to do your homework and be a astute financial partner in your financial affairs if you want to be successful.
And it's difficult to read into why a loan officer, and it could be anybody. It could be somebody from a bank. It could be your guy that you've been using for years or a friend of somebody you've been using for years. It's hard to read why they're asking you to take cash out. Remember, they're getting paid a commission, a percentage of the loan amount. So they may ask you to take an extra $50,000 or $100,000. That's money in their pocket, without regard of what it means to you. Does this debt really need to be paid off? I actually ran a scenario for somebody where they had a car loan. Let's just say it's a $20,000 car loan at 2% interest rate. They actually paid less interest by keeping that car loan and not rolling it into the loan. They paid a lot more by putting it into the car, as opposed to like a credit card payment where that can actually jack up over many, many, many years of paying just the minimum payment. So you have to really weigh out, do you need the payment or do you need the cash? Or do you need, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you just have to weigh all the options. But one of the things that I've noticed, Gordon, about the low interest rates as they've been developing over the last several weeks is that applications actually dropped. Applications for mortgages in general, 1.8% last week. And Gordon, without kind of using that refinance and buy when it makes sense comment and that philosophy, what do you make of this trend where interest rates are dropping yet we're seeing less applications on purchases and refinances? Well,
there's always a lapse in the marketplace. We always got to figure that out. Well, by the time people start to do things, we might see the application drop because this is actually a 30-day business. Whatever we do today is something that actually happened 30 days ago. So a lot of times when you see applications drop or you see closings drop, that's from a month ago. We're actually seeing the higher activity right now, but we won't be able to reflect that in the numbers until the following month. So a lot of times it's a lag type market. That's just where our business is. That's my answer.
I was hoping for a little bit more of a long-term type of scenario. Like, are we seeing a longer trend of just slower activity over a long period? Have all the people who have refinanced already refinanced? Have all the people who can afford to buy already bought? I'm kind of asking that question because a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen in the next 6 months to a year, up to 5 years or so. As far as real estate is concerned, is it going to stay flat? Are interest rates going to affect home prices and continue to affect home prices? We know this latest bump downwards in interest rates have helped people with purchasing power. We know that's going to help more people refinance, but it's starting to run thin, Gordon.
Well, if you look at statistics, they say that 30% of the people that need to refinance over and over again. The majority of the marketplace do not refinance. They have people that take a 30-year loan and they pay it forever. They just don't believe in churning the market. Especially right now, we find a lot of people are so disgusted with the loan process. It takes too long. There's too much documentation that's required. There's too much papers to sign. So a lot of people have actually gotten frustrated with the process over the years. And a lot of people are very reluctant or apprehensive to refinance.
The grass is greener on the other side.
Even though it's an opportunity, even if there is an opportunity there. So those are all the things we have to kind of work through. But statistically speaking, they say that the refinance mongers do it over and over and over again. I think every 14 months, I think that's what the number calls for. And a lot of people out there that should refinance just typically don't.
We kind of sit here in our industry and we watch rates go up and down, and activity kind of is reflected by that. But with the small increases and decreases that we've been seeing over the last 3 years, let's go back to 2013 when rates really hit the bottom down to like 3.37 or something like that. And we're really not too far off of that. I mean, rates are really pricing well if you have good credit and good income. I think people would be surprised if they have a conforming loan, what you can get today. But when the rates really aren't rising a a lot or in a consistent rise or a consistent drop, and it really can't drop much further, we don't see a lot of activity. And so what's going to happen if we keep in this kind of phase for a long period of time, Gordon? I think is really the ultimate question, is where are the opportunities in real estate in the Bay Area if interest rates stay where they are, if home prices kind of creep up here and there, and we're topping off some of the markets in places like San Mateo County, maybe even Santa Clara. San Francisco's on the high end. They've already kind of slowed down. Where, if paychecks aren't rising as fast as home prices, what are we looking at?
Well, I mean, the first place you see that is sales. Once sales start to slow down, and then, of course, we don't have a lot of inventory in the market even to start with, so there's not a whole lot of sales that we have going on right now. But if the market churns, like a very resilient marketplace, one thing that I can say that I'm very proud of, our industry is changing. We're requiring less paperwork. We were talking today, one of our primary investors that we sell loans to mentioned that they're no longer requiring the old 4506 reports. That is a verification
those
of
tax transcripts.
returns.
Yeah.
So the market now is beginning to ease up a little bit, hopefully with the Dodd-Frank being what they call ease. It's more user-friendly, and the more user-friendly is, the more people are going to invite into the market to actually continue to either refinance or purchase. Because people had gotten very, very discouraged in trying to do a home loan over the last couple of years because the guidelines had gotten so tight. It was a monster of a deal. I talked to many clients. Oh boy, you need this, you need that,
and we got a monster of a reform out of it with Dodd-Frank, didn't we?
Yeah. So now we're seeing it now on the street side. Things that investors are asking for less and less documentation. We got investors now. We don't need to ask information from. We can pull it all from a source, some type of third party source. We can pull it. So it's beginning easier now to get along, which I'm excited about.
The private market. This called it non-qualified mortgage market. Qualified mortgages is what came out of Dodd-Frank, and that's pretty much most of the loans you're going to see out there. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, FHA, those are the loans you're going to see that are going to fit into the qualified mortgage. The non-qualified mortgage, let's just call it the private market, where the private sector lending is booming right now. They are really stepping up in the jumbo territory. They're stepping up in the bank statement programs. What are some of the other? We actually have a segment we're going to talk about. I just wanted to quickly move on.
For the non-Q, I mean, that's what. And if you go back to what the prediction was, the actual Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac actually wanted more private sector participation in the mortgage business. They didn't want the government carrying a whole segment of that paper. So we're kind of getting that, because now some of these guys, now you can get a non-QM loan in the sixes right now at maybe 1 or 2 point cost. You can close that deal in 10, 15 days. Matter of fact, that same client that I mentioned earlier is using a non-QM loan, because in order to make that contingency, she had to do a 10-day close, and that's the only way you can do a 10-day close with a non-type QM loan. So it's kind of coming around full
range
circle.
Is shrinking definitely in interest rates as the programs keep coming out. You're welcome to call the show 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220. Email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. You can always look up our Facebook group page, the Real Estate Report Radio Show. I don't know why I have trouble saying it. We'll be right back.
Too many R's.
This is Money 2.0 on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
You can always reach out to us, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. That's our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com. We also have a Facebook group page, the Real Estate Report Radio Show. You can always go to our website and sign up for there as well. We also do newsletters. You can sign up at website as well. And podcasts for the show are also there and soon to be on iTunes. Somebody emailed me the other day. This is getting the 21st century.
Get on iTunes.
Get on iTunes. But we're really trying to get our network. We've been on this air for this our 6th year, and people are wondering why I didn't have those downloads on iTunes, and they're going to come very shortly. So we're in the real estate business. Gordon's been in the business for 28 years in the Bay Area, many years, and I've been in the business, finance business, for over 18 years, in the Bay Area for 12 years, doing home loans, originating full time. And I think that's what's really key about this business, Gordon, is that, and what attracted me to you was that you're full time. And when I got here, not everybody was full time. A lot of these people had full time jobs where they were doing real estate on the side, and that's because there was a lot of money in it. And what I really liked about the fallout in 2007, 2008, 2009, continued to 2011 was it filtered out a lot of the bad people out of the business. A lot of the shady people who were just trying to package loans. They were making up incomes. They were doing neg-am loans and really got a lot of people into trouble. And I'm really kind of proud that I never got mixed up in that. I came a little bit too late. Otherwise, I might have. And I'm not proud of saying that either. But I think everybody was attracted to the fact that you could do a home loan, charge 2 points in the front and get 3 points in the back, and make $20,000, $30,000 on a home loan, making as much as the realtors were making on it. And it's not like that nowadays. Everything's disclosed to the borrowers. Everything is you have the loan estimate, all that goes to the borrower. Then you have the closing disclosures. There's so many disclosures nowadays that keeps you protected as a consumer, but it's getting easier. And that's what I really like about how the people who are professionals and stick with the business that are in it today are really focusing on how to make it easier for the borrowers, especially the those mainstream wholesale lenders that we use.
Well, they say behind every dark cloud there's a silver lining. So if you look at Dodd-Frank, one of the good things about Dodd-Frank, we went to national licenses. Everybody doing real estate loans today has to have a federal and a state license. That was the first key. We all take the same classes and make sure we all use the same type of paperwork. The disclosure all the same. There's no more ambiguity. There's no more half gray, half black in our disclosures. So everything is up front. Everything is covered. Everything is disclosed, redisclosed. Any changes that have to be signed by the bar, there's a waiting period. So it's actually kind of made the business get more better with less finagling going on behind the scenes. So I think that's made for a healthier market. And as we talked earlier about where the market is going, this is why the market is going to stay strong for a long time, because of those kind of few changes that was made, which is very, very important to the long-term validity of our industry.
A really good example of what we used to see, and believe it or not, it still happens. If you don't think it still happens, it happens. Discrimination. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development announced an agreement with a group of California mortgage lenders to resolve allegations that they discriminated against a mortgage applicant based on his national origin. The complaint alleged that American Financial Network of Brea, California, Benchmark Communities of Fresno, and Brigantino Enterprise of Hollister, and an employee of Benchmark Communities failed to pre-qualify him to purchase a home in Hollister because he is Hispanic. The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in rentals, sales, or home lending transactions based on a person's national origin, race, color, religion, sex, or family status or disability. It still happens out there, and unfortunately, some of these people are still around in the business. I think the lesson here is that work with somebody, including a a realtor that's been in the business for a long time. In fact, we have a great guest that's coming on. She's been in the business 38 years. All right, that's somebody you want to work with who's been in through the ups and downs. Gordon, you've been in the business 28 years plus. I've been in the business 12 years, and we're full-time at it. It's a lesson you learn that you work with the professionals. Now, what are your comments on that, Gordon? I know what you're going to say, work with the professionals.
Well, of course I got to get that in. Don't work with Cousin Vinny. Can't go the week without mentioning that. It speaks for itself. I always tell people, the good people are always around for a long time. It's like the good companies are always around. You got the fly-by-nights that come and go, and the guy that promises the world but don't deliver. Our business is so dynamic, and it's complex. If you look through these paperwork sometimes, it's a very complex thing when you're trying to buy a home loan, being able to understand the true validity, APR, if you go for a short-term ARM, what's going to happen after the ARM period is gone. So education is very, very important. That's why it's very important to work with a professional, someone who truly understands the business, truly understands the products, and can truly direct you and guide you into the best loan possible. So long term.
Okay, we're going to come back after this break. We have a great guest, Julie Geyer, again, 35 plus years. I think it was 38. In San Mateo, San Carlos, Redwood City. Great realtor. Stick around for that. You can always call the show 800-516-1220. Email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. Visit our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com. We'll be right back after this break here on AM 1220, KDOW.
This is Money 2.0. On AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
Thanks for being with us today. You can always visit our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com. We are mortgage brokers. Classic Home Loans is the name of the broker, and Gordon is the broker. Today we have a great guest, Julie Geyer from Remax Star Properties. Welcome in.
Thank you.
You cover the Belmont, San Mateo, San Carlos, Redwood City, and a little bit more in the outlying areas. And you've been doing it for 35 plus years. Isn't that like saying?
Yes, I have.
When you're 2 years old, you go, I'm 2.5. When you're 35 years, do you have to put the plus sign after it?
I don't think so.
And you also have a passion for gardening. I love that.
Yeah, I do. I love to garden.
Well, we're glad to have you back in. And, you and I have a mutual client from many years ago, bought in 2009 for about $980,000, got up to about 1.6 in 2004. So 980 to 1.6, about $600,000 in appreciation. But since then, since that 2004 value, it's kind of stalled out. So the median home price in San Mateo is about $1.1 million. Using this person's value as kind of a benchmark for an average type of house, have prices stalled in that price range, the 1.6? And does that mean that the lower priced homes have a little bit more room to grow as opposed to those average homes in the 1.5, 1.6?
Well, let me tell you this. 1.1 is probably the lowest point here on the peninsula. And these 1.1 homes that are listed in, nice areas, I would say, like Fiesta Gardens and the east side of San Mateo and Redwood City. But lately they've been, just like 6 months ago, they're going over like $1.2 million, $1.250,000, and some are going almost $1.3 million.
Wow. And is that because that 1.5, 1.6 is a little bit out of their range? Are we seeing a cap out in what people can afford?
Here on the peninsula, every home that really comes on the market is selling very quickly up to the 1.5, 1.6. I think your $2 million homes are maybe sitting on the market a little bit longer, but the first-time buyer homes, they're flying, absolutely flying. And I mean, we're talking 1.2, 1.3 first-time buyer homes now.
Wow, what a benchmark for what we call a starter home. Is that incredible or what?
That's incredible. I will agree.
So what does a first-time home buyer look for? Do they start looking at condos? I was reading a very, very interesting article that on a research that was done by Trulia suggesting that over the last they went back to 2012 up to February of this year, and they measured condo appreciation compared to single-family residence or that freestanding detached property. And they said that the median condo values rose by 38.4%, while the median single-family house went up 27.9%. Now, this is national. It's out of the 100 largest metropolitan areas in the United States. Are you seeing any of that condo for the starter home area starting to get a little bit too fast for these first-time home buyers?
Well, the condo market is wonderful. Even though we have high association fees, meaning $450 and up, and $500 a month is your medium HOA bill you're going to get per month. And because people can't get into single-family homes, paying about 1.2 or 1.3, they're going to get into a condominium.
So you feel pretty confident about somebody who buys a condo and they're looking for, number one, the security. I don't want to lose any of my down payment, but maybe even some faster appreciation than that 1.6, 1.7 single family, huh?
We're still seeing appreciation here in condos, everything. There was a day many years ago where condos just weren't the thing. They would just sit. Nobody wanted to buy a condo. Now you can't even keep a condo on the market.
The most extreme example is New York, where the median condo values are now at 138% of their value since 2012. And that kind of story goes on and on. San Francisco, San Jose also hit the list over the last 5 years. I think it's interesting, and we're seeing a lot more condos go up. I know right along 101, right there at Holly Street, there's a bunch of condos going to go up in markets. I think that's the new thing that Santana Row set the whole theme, and everywhere we're seeing this going up. Julie, we're going to keep you on for the next segment. I just want to ask a couple more questions, kind of get the feeling a little bit more about what's going on in the peninsula. We're going to come back after this break. Again, you can reach us by going to BayAreaLoanSource.com. You can always go to our Facebook group page, the Real Estate Report Radio Show, or you can just visit our website and sign up. We'll be right back after this break.
This is Money 2.0. on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
Thanks for being with us today. We still have Julie Geyer from RE/MAX Star Properties on the line. 35 years in the business plus as a realtor. And you've been in the same area the whole time. You must just love being able to show clients all around, and you know every single little nook and cranny. And
yes, I've seen houses over and over on the market, and it's nice when you walk in and you see it has been remodeled by the previous owner, and yeah, it's great. I love the peninsula. So
we have a little dip in interest rates. Has that sparked any activity on your end?
I believe it is, boy. I think that really helps.
So we're watching kind of the national situation where paychecks are not rising as fast as home prices, but every time we get a little dip in interest rates, that kind of helps. But applications in general are low, and purchase applications, in fact, dropped even as interest rates dropped, which we should see the inverse of that. So I'm kind of curious what kind of traffic you're still seeing in all types of ranges of prices.
We see tons of traffic on open houses, even on tour day. Here on the peninsula right now, our biggest thing is we're still low on inventory. We're getting a few more, but we're still really low on inventory.
What do you recommend somebody to do? Not just to jump right out there and expect to find something. Should they I start early. I mean, we say that in our business all the time, but what's the best way that somebody can be in contact with their realtor and get in front of the line? Is there even such a thing, or is it just going to come?
Yes. The best thing is when I work with people, we look at different areas, and then we do a process of elimination to which areas they really want to be in, and we concentrate on those areas. And I always say, don't just pick one. Let's pick three, because you need three good areas that you like to pick from, because the inventory has been so low.
And you need to be able to move fast. That is the key in this business right now, and you have to put your best foot forward. Anything else that you'd like to kind of end your segment on?
Yeah, your best foot forward. That's the key. Even if it's, out of your comfort zone, if you really want to get into a home, you've really got to put your best foot forward.
You can always reach Julie Geyer at juliegeyersells@yahoo.com, or you can just look her up, Julie Geyer, Geyer, with RE/MAX Star Properties. You can always email us, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. Thank you very much, Julie, for being with us. We'll have you on again.
Thank you very much.
And happy gardening.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Okay. Have a great night.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for being with us. Gordon, a new study came out released by Zillow that down payment is the number one reason for not buying for renters. 70% of renters in the nation in the top 20 metro areas said this was their main obstacle. Insufficient credit and lack of job security follows as reasons why renters are unable to buy homes. What do you find disturbing of this statistic, or do you find it disturbing at all?
Well, of course not. If prices go up to over $1 million and you're looking at 5% down, is what, $50,000? So a lot of money to muster up, especially when you're paying back student loans and having to pay rent and do all kinds of different things. There's a lot of different demands out there for your paycheck. So that's the reason why we have a couple of good programs that are really good. We got the Gift of Equity program, in which a family member can sell you a home for no out-of-pocket expense, no down payment. If you want to call 100% finance, you can. But they're actually going to gift you the equity in the property.
For the down payment.
Right. So
a
lot of different programs are coming back, which kind of helps spurs the market and can make up that same type of gap where people are having trouble coming up with down payments.
So I'm kind of a math guy. And when I see something like this, where 70% of renters in the biggest metro areas in the United States say that they can't find down payment, yet you add that up with the fact that we have a lot of low down payment programs out there. VA, for example, what a fantastic product. FHA, 3.5% down all the way to $636,000. Now we're starting to see these programs like 10% down jumbos to up to $1.5 million with no mortgage insurance. There's even a lender out there that we use 10% down up to $2.5 million with no mortgage insurance, and these are out there. And then you have things like the bank statement programs. So there's a professor at the finance at the Wharton School of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania. He's known as the mortgage professor. He said one of the effects of Dodd-Frank reform was that the elimination of programs for self-employed borrowers. So one of the programs out there is something called bank statement programs. That was really the needle on the haystack for me. It irked me so much that we have so many self-employed borrowers and they just ripped a program away from them. And they didn't replace it with anything and left a lot of people high and dry, Gordon. Yeah, and that's one of the problems with we talked earlier about underwriting guidelines becoming so stringent. They got rid of a lot of flexibility in the marketplace. The underwriter didn't have no place to go other than what the investor put out there. They had to follow to the T as to the book. So now we're seeing the original bank statement program is a non-QM type product that has kind of reinvented itself back into the marketplace. And what we're finding now is most investors now are beginning to offer this product. It's a great product. It's a product that's based upon your deposits on a monthly basis. There's a 12-month program or a 24-month program. And what we do, if we take, let's say the 12-month program, we take 12 months of your deposits. We qualify all the deposits are actually deposits. They're not transfers. And that's income. And that's income. Yeah. And we give you that number. We add up and divide by 12, and that's your monthly gross income to help you qualify for loan. It's a great product, and we're finding a lot of people now beginning to get wind of it. Yeah, and I like the whole people are starting to figure it out, but there's still a lot of people who aren't. They hear about the product, but they aren't getting the advice that they need as far as the accounting. Just the same way that we work with people who have investment property and other self-employed borrowers that are looking to maximize their income and qualifying ratios, we kind of advise them on what they need in order how to file their taxes. Same thing with the bank statement program. You need to do it correctly. For example, we see a lot of people who are putting the money into like their personal account and then some into their bank account, and then they're doing withdrawals and they're not doing it right. So this is one of those programs, and this is turning out to be one of those program segments, but start working with somebody early. Like, Gordon, you do these all the time. Start working with somebody like Gordon where you can get a good idea in advance of how you want to do that 12-month plan if you're looking for a purchase coming up in the future. So with that said, you can always email Gordon at gordon@BayAreaLoanSource.com, gordon@BayAreaLoanSource.com. I know you want to do this day in history. I know you're itching to do that. And happy 420. I know there's a lot of people that are really enjoying today. Yeah, today the milestone day. When you do get a chance to listen to the show, if you aren't listening to it now, you can always visit our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com, or email us, Tony at BayAreaLoanSource.com. We'll be right back on AM 1220 KDOW.
This is Money 2.0 on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
You can always visit our Facebook page, the Real Estate Report radio show, or you can email us, Tony at BayAreaLoanSource.com. We're going to do Facebook Live after the show. We're going to talk about that bank statement program. So if you're self-employed and you're interested in doing a transaction in the next month or the next year or 2 years, we're going to give you some helpful tips. In the meantime, we did get an email from Sylvia in Fairfield. This one's right up your alley, Gordon. My mother did a reverse mortgage 1 year ago. When we were setting up her estate plan, we found a $65,000 lien on the mortgage that she never did. How can we get this removed? Wow. What's going on here?
Loan fraud. I've seen it before. Actually, we just closed a transaction not long ago with the same type of situation. When you typically have a reverse mortgage, you're not entitled to get another loan for at least 12 months. And there's some sinister person out there, a sinister company. They know the facts. They go ahead and add these seconds onto some fraudulent seconds onto title, and they figure the estate family members not going to know about it, and they end up paying some of them. So this particular party caught it because she lived with her mom and she knew that she didn't do it. She filed a police report. We end up having to bond around it, meaning we had to buy a bond to get around it.
So Sylvie could get a bond?
She can get a bond.
What about trying to get and that would help the title company delay, not delay, but it gives them some time.
And give them a chance to close the transaction.
But it's a 1 year. They have to wait 1 year to get that off. Is there another way to get it off? Can you go to court?
You can do what they call a quiet title action. You can hire an attorney. The attorney can go to court, show that the loan was fraudulent, and with that information, the judge can order it off the title. It's called a quiet title action, and that's the other way to get around it. But once it's on title, even though it's fraudulent, you just can't bypass it. It has to be addressed. It has to be accounted for.
And the whole thing here is that this this sinister person is thinking that somebody's getting a reverse mortgage, that they're going to eventually pass away, and the family members aren't going to know what the parents, what that person did, and they're just going to pay that off, and that sinister person ends up with the money. That means check your title every once in a while, see what it's public record.
Just like a credit, you have to check everything once in a while, because there's so much things out there, there's so much information flying through the airways, as we all know. You have to pay attention to your portfolio if you want to keep it.
Some of the biggest regrets people have after buying a house. What do you think is number one?
I don't have a landlord anymore to call for repairs.
No, what do you think? No, regret. What's the biggest regret?
Biggest regret to have after buying a house?
Yeah.
I don't know. Enlighten me.
Not buying big enough.
Not buying big enough. Okay.
It was listed as number one regret by something called NerdWallet and Trulia. Some buyers become so focused on specific neighborhoods that they miss out on good deals elsewhere. I think that, we just had Julie on, and she says, we just don't pick one area, we pick three areas. Because,
you have to.
That you desire. The two reason is not knowing enough about the house and its location. 22% wish they had more information about their homes. Some people bought without inspections and wish that they did. How often do you see somebody get a house and then wish that they didn't?
Well, actually, one of the biggest complaints that I found from people buying houses is actually traffic. A lot of times they buy houses in outlying areas, like people buy out in Stockton, Tracy. They go out in the weekends, it's a breeze, and then come Monday morning, they get on that traffic snarl and they say, boy, am I on the same road? So that's always a pitfall too.
Number three, not understanding the financial ins and outs. About 41% of homeowners said they were not aware of their loan options, according to NerdWallet. And among millennials, 19% of homeowners were surprised how long it took to buy a house. We're getting rid of those misconceptions. We're trying, the industry.
We can close in 30 days.
Number four, not giving a bigger down payment. Surprisingly, 18% of home buyers wish they had made a bigger down payment to eliminate things like mortgage insurance and second loans and things like that. What it all comes down to is really do your research. Don't rush into it. Start early. Fix your credit when you can, and talk to the professionals. We're going to do Facebook Live after the show. About 10, 15 minutes after the show, you can always join us at the Real Estate Report radio show on Facebook Live.
Time went so fast, we didn't get a chance to tell you what happened this day in history. We'll tell you next week.
Maybe we'll tell you on Facebook Live. We'll come back next week here on AM 1220 KDOW. This is Tony Mendez and Gordon Hines.